Hi, and welcome back to episode 3 of Knits in the Wild. My name is Jen, and I am coming to you from the capital region of upstate New York, where I live with my husband, Jordan, and our 2 cats, Cedric, who is hanging out with me here. And I apologize in advance if he, inserts himself into the podcast. He likes to be very loud. And my other cat, Phoebe, is also up here watching from her perch. She might make an appearance too. But welcome back. Thank you for joining me. So let's talk a little bit about what I'm wearing right now. This is my Norwood sweater, which is designed by Jen Steingass. And it is a colorwork. This is a colorwork round yoke pullover, knit from the top down. And this was my first ever finished sweater, which I finished in May of 2022, last year. And it wasn't my first ever started sweater, but it's the first sweater I ever finished. So I'm very proud of it. I knit it to cropped length so I could wear it over skirts and dresses, and it looks pretty cute. It is very comfy. It is knit up with Brooklyn Tweed's Loft yarn, which is a woolen spun fingering weight yarn. Colorways Postcard, which is this light pink contrast color, and Storm Cloud, which is this gray main color, which I absolutely love. It's goes with everything. So I love it, and it's very light. It's lightweight, but it's still warm due to being woolen spun. So I really like it. So I apologize in advance if the camera starts to shake a lot because my cats are currently, my one cat is right now standing on the table, and he likes to nudge my hand in the camera and stuff. So if that happens, that is why he wants to get some pets. Okay, so I have a lot of things to share today. So, cat butt. Let's start with my finished object. Okay. On December 31st, the last day of 2022, I finished my velvet mirror cowl. Absolutely love how it came out. I talked a bit about this in one of the previous episodes, so I'm not going to go into the yarn and stuff, but it's knit with Spincycle yarns Nocturne, which is this dark purple color changing yarn, and also this brushed Suri alpaca, the white color, which is whipped cream by Blue Sky Fibers. So it is just to die for. It's so soft and cozy and goes with everything. I actually might just keep it on because I love how it looks. This was my last finished object of 2022. So very proud of that. This was on the list of things to knit for a while, so I'm really glad I finally have it. My first cast on of 2023 was the bear paw socks. So I cast on these, I think it was a couple days after the new year, and I finished them in about 2 weeks. These are knit with, first of all, the pattern is the Bear Paw Socks by Andrea Mowry. As you can tell, she's one of my favorite designers. Absolutely love all of everything she designs. But these are knit with Farmer's Daughter Fibers Bear Paw DK, which is, I think I still have the ball band. Farmer's Daughter Fibers. And one ball is 231 yards per 100 grams. And it is made of 20% yak, 20% silk, and 60% of superwash merino wool. So knitting these up, they're so soft. I've never knit with yak before, or any yak blend. And that's this brown color, by the way, which has this beautiful sheen from the silk. And the color is called Lil Waappiti, I believe. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, and just for the contrast colors, I used some leftover scraps I had from my Briar and Bramble sweater. So I like these. They knit up really quick, and these were my first ever toe up socks. So I learned how to do the toe up, that Turkish cast on for toe up. It was so easy, surprisingly easy. And they knit up really fast, and it was also my first time doing this heel. Usually I just do the standard heel flap and gusset, but for this, we'll call the Flegel heel, was new for me. I really like how they came out. However, my only gripe with the yarn is that it is already pilling and felting, and I wore them once to work, which must have been a mistake to wear them with boots all day because the heels already started to felt a little bit. And also, when I was increasing for the gusset, I got these ladders, which I guess I just wasn't mindful enough of how I was holding my yarn, because it's a little gapey, which I'm not happy with, but I still love them. They're very soft. They're my little house sleep socks. And I've worn them a bunch of times, which is why they look so baggy on the blocker. Here's the other one, not on the blocker. Yeah, I love the color. They have little fuzzies already coming off them, but what can you do? That's just the nature of yarn. Whips. Of course, I have my Throwover sweater that I'm knitting for Casey's knit along, called the Bougie Sweatshirt knit along, which I talked about during my previous episode. So I'm making the Throwover by Andrea Mowry, another one. And I have finished the body and the color work, obviously. I don't think I had that done last time I showed you, but it is coming out really nicely. I am almost done with one sleeve. I put in a lifeline because I wasn't sure how I wanted to decrease down the sleeve here, because from one of my last sweaters, I knit the sleeves a little too tight. So I wanted to make sure this one was really comfy and not too tight in the sleeves. So I did 8 decreases out of the 12 that the pattern says. And I am just going with that. And it's a little more looser, which is more comfy for me. So I put in a lifeline in case it's too loose. I will rip back out and just knit the decreases like the pattern said. But this yarn, this is the Spincycle contrast color work. And this main color is CC's Wool 100% Corriedale yarn in the fall leaves color. And this yarn is so soft. It's like velvet when I touch it. It's really nice. The only thing I don't like is that in this skein, or in all the skeins so far, as you can see, there are these big chunks of where it looks like the yarn was like connected. I don't know if this is gonna focus, but there. It's like these big chunky pieces, which aren't the best, but they're not really that obvious when you're knitting. I mean, you can kind of see right here, there was one of those big chunks, but that just adds character. That's how I'm going to look at it. It is rustic and cozy and soft, and it's funny how soft it is for such a rustic yarn. Like, there are pieces of plant matter in here that that doesn't bother me, but it's very farmy. I like it. So I hope to have this done in the next couple weeks. have a sip. I have knitting plans. My next couple of projects I have kind of planned out. I decided okay, so I can't finish one sweater without starting to plan the next, obviously. Anyone else like that? Like, always thinking about what I'm gonna do next. So I will be making, I'll throw in a photo of this sweater, but it's called the Halu sweater by Caitlin Hunter. And it is a V-neck round yoke sweater, which I've never made a V-neck. And it is the same style as her Easy V sweater, which is really popular, but it has this beautiful lace yoke with some bobbles, which I've never knit bobbles before. And I don't knit a lot of lace because you need, for myself, I like to be knitting on autopilot, and lace requires attention, and sometimes I screw it up, and then my stitch counts are way off, and then I get really frustrated and I hate ripping back. But I'm learning. I really would love to have a lace yoke pullover, so I'm going to try to learn from the mistakes I make, and really I'm going to go with it. So I made a swatch the other day. And I'll share the information about that. So I will be using, let me show you the yarn first. The Fiber Company Cumbria fingering. And I've knit with this brand before, and I really loved the yarn I used. So, and I really wanted the sweater to be navy. This is a blend of Marsham wool, merino, and mohair, and it is really just soft and squishy, and it's fingering weight. It's meant to be held double with a mohair. So I bought Rowan Cashmere Haze, which is a blend of baby alpaca, cashmere, and silk. And guys, this is so soft. I've never knit with cashmere, anything cashmere, so this is like a treat. The fabric it makes is just amazing. It's so soft. So this is the swatch. I started knitting the pattern, the lace pattern, so I could practice the bobbles, which I don't like knitting them. They were a pain in the neck. And I did them wrong the first few times, which I'm so glad I did this swatch. But I think they're going to end up being like this size here, which they're not too big, which is good because I'm trying to decide if I like bobbles. I don't know. I don't own anything with bobbles on them. I like how it looks on the sweater and all like the test knits and the sample and everything, but like on myself, I just don't know. So I'm still on the fence of whether or not I'm going to even include them or just leave them out. But the fabric is lovely. I have always wanted this, like a dark navy sweater to wear, like that's kind of classy, but also like cozy. So I can't wait to start that. But I'm honestly nervous because I am not good at knitting intricate lace patterns, and this isn't intricate by any means, but for me, we will see. So that is the Halu Pullover by Caitlin Hunter. And my next plan, so I've been wanting, I'm sure of you all seen the pressed flowers shawl all over Instagram and Ravelry, but I like it, and I would love to have that. And I'm sorry I keep messing with this camera, but the cat has been knocking the table around. Anyway, I am going to be using, I believe, this is just my preliminary planning. I'm going to be using this yarn. It's called Peace Love Yarn. Come on. And this, look at that. like I am normally not into like hand-dyed yarns and, setting alarms to get yarn through shop updates. I don't know, I'm just not into that. But this yarn I found at Rhinebeck last year, this color, and it just like, I just love it. It's a neutral, but it's got these pops of like turquoise blue and this like purple. It just is gorgeous. So I bought 2 skeins of these without any plans, but I think it would make a nice main color, background color for the pressed flower shawl. So this yarn is called Peace Love Yarn, and it's in the Starling base, which is 100% wool, and it's 320 yards, and it's a sport weight. And this yarn is hand dyed locally here. And the funny story about buying that yarn was that when I was at Rhinebeck, it was so crowded. It was very hard to shop. So if you see something you liked, I was just like, I'll just get it. Anyway, I was at this booth and the dyer was there talking about her yarn. And I was like, oh, this yarn is so beautiful. I think I'm going to buy 2 skeins of this. And lo and behold, the booth was the spinning room, which is one of our local yarn shops. And I like had no clue. And I bought it. So I thought that was kind of funny. But this yarn is dyed locally in this area of upstate New York, from what I can tell. I couldn't find much about it on her website, but I'm pretty sure. So their website is peaceloveyarn.com if you want to look at her shop. I believe she still has yarn in stock, so you could order some if you wanted to. Her colors were beautiful. So anyway, I think I'm going to use this as the contrast color, which is a Feederbrook Farms Entropy DK, and it is 100% blue face Leicester wool in the colorway Symbiosis. And they're very Spincycle-esque, but it's a little more affordable. I guess you could say it's $28 for 100 grams, which is a little bit cheaper than Spincycle. And I made my night shift shawl out of this yarn, and it's really nice. I think if I don't have enough of this for the flowers, I'm going to use leftovers from my Throwover, because I think these 2 colors would be interesting together with this. What do you think for a pressed flower shawl? I think it would look good, but what do I know? Next up, I made an impulse purchase after I saw, I'm sure everyone's familiar with the Needles of the Ready podcast. I love those guys. Anyway, they posted on their podcast about their maker's bags that they got. And I was like, oh, I need one of those. I love that. So I ordered this one in black wax canvas. It's so well made and so durable. It looks like it's going to hold up really well. And there's so many pockets. It comes with little stitch markers, stitch marker holder that you can take off. It's it's like a little safety pin. And inside, lots of pockets in the main section. We've got lots of pockets. The yarn cutter, something you can like feed your yarn through. Yeah, it's got this nice zipper here. It came with a little needle here, a little notebook, and a little card that just tells you about it. So yeah, it's called the Maker's Bag, which I'm excited to use. You can fit, let's see here. It fits like a decent amount of yarn in there in a project. I also found this really nice hand cream, which this might be old news to you, but this is called Lano Hands. It's a hand cream made with lanolin, which is the waxy substance found in wool, and it is so nice. It absorbs really fast and it like doesn't feel greasy, so you can immediately knit after putting it on. And I got a gift card for Christmas for ULTA, and I found it there, and it's so nice. They have chapsticks too, different scents. This one is the milk and honey scent, and it's just really, really faint. Very pretty. I'm a big fan, so I recommend that. And that is about it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining. Hope everyone is having a great new year so far. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.